we're gonna go ahead and open up for Q&A. If you guys have questions when it's on, we'll call on you to unmute yourself to ask. So go ahead and raise your hand digitally, and we'll call on you. While we're waiting for people to raise their hand, I want to circle back regarding the foreign investors. Is it a pretty easy process for them to create a U.S. company and transfer their money over to the U.S. entity?
It's fairly simple. Again, I'm not the CPA. I'm not the guy that's the attorney to do it, but it is fairly simple, right? You don't need much. And, you don't have to invest with me, but if you have foreign investors and whatnot, and you want to talk to a CPA, please reach out to me. I'll connect you with my CPA. He's out in Miami. He speaks Spanish and English fluently, perfectly, and he can help you with that. It's fairly simple project. He can take your investors and walk them through the process, and he can do their tax returns for them as well, so they feel comfortable. He's very smart, and I highly recommend him.
Excellent. All right, Matt, go ahead.
Man, thanks for sharing your story. That was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I posted in there from military to hippie to real estate owner. That's a journey.
Absolutely.
I've actually been going down the path of getting aligned with fund of funds, and I'm excited about this group, Tim, and more eager to plug in. But I'm really looking for maybe some tips, Nizan or Tim, as far as like when you connect with these people. It's a little bit of a tricky thing because you might have a deal, but obviously the relationship comes first. And so just the balance of figuring that out, right? I'm actively raising on a deal, but I'd rather just focus on the relationship and get them to invest 3 years from now. However, I have the deal, right? And so just get y'all's take on the framework, the follow-up, the approach on that whole process, if that tracks what I'm asking.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to?
Yes. And you answer first, and then yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So Matt, great question. Let's unpack that a little bit, right? So first thing, you have a deal under contract. If you're doing a 506B as in boy, and you do not have a previous existing relationship with these people, you cannot hit them up for that deal, right? You're aware of that, right?
Yeah, just to give clarity, I've done 6 syndicate larger deals, so I am aware.
Okay.
I guess to reiterate a little bit more specifically for me, I'm chasing some pretty big deals, a couple guys that are losing all their deals. And so I've done $5 million raises, $4 million raises, but it's turning into 20, 25, 30. And so I'm like, man, I need some fund to fund guys, but I don't want to sacrifice the relationship. I don't want to come across as I'm only here for money, but I do believe in what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to navigate. For me, it's like this, I'm looking at it as a small window of opportunity to get these deals and that closes. So I'm just trying to think through the best way that on a day-to-day basis, like I want to join the group. I want to be involved in as many as I can. And forget about me in some sense. I truly do want to help and plug in, and I invest in other people's deals. But I'm looking at this big opportunity. I'm like, what's the best? I'm as dialed in and zoned in, like you mentioned, but what's the best everyday action step process that I need to be doing right now?
To talk to the fund of fund managers?
Yes. I feel like that's the way I'm going to solve these bigger things.
No, that's great. Remember the show Shark Tank, right?
Yes.
So what do they always say? Yeah, the product is great, but we're investing with the person. Right. We're looking at the person. Now, so if you're reaching out to fund managers and you're reaching out cold, it's going to take time for them to get to know you and to trust you. What I recommend is LinkedIn is good for seeing, hey, you're third level from this person, or this person who knows that person, right? 6 degrees of separation. See who you know that knows that person and ask them to make an introduction.
Sure.
So right there, half of the job is done because of that trust, respect aspect. And that's what I do. Go to people and I'll say, hey, who do I know that knows this person, that knows this? I'm looking to meet these people and network with them. When you're meeting with a fund of fund manager and you're getting on a call with them for the first time, they know that you're talking to them to invest. They're not stupid. They're not a fund of fund manager because they look good in the morning or they have a nice personality and whatnot. No, they understand. Matt's calling me. Can I call you Matt? Is it okay, or is it Matthew? You're muted.
I said my friends call me Matthew. I like you to be friend. There we go.
Awesome. Matthew, they're not getting on the phone and saying, all right, let's shoot for 20 minutes and get to know each other. Quick 4 or 5 minutes. And okay, listen, this is the track record. What are they looking for? Can we trust this person? Do they have a good track record? Will they take care of my money? So when a fund-to-fund manager and investor, when they're investing, what's the first thing they're thinking? Well, I get my money back. Forget about the return on investment. That's great if that happens. Will I get my money back? How do I know that Matthew is going to take care of my money and the deal? So they're going to want to see, who are you partnered with? Who is your team? What is your track record? How have you solved these problems? So when you're talking to them, you can always say, you know what? Hey, yeah, so we did this and this. That was a little hairy deal. It went a little sideways for a while, but we were able to do X, Y, and Z. Now, you don't have to give them your worst case scenario. You don't have to give them, but just share with them that you are there and you're ready to do whatever it takes. A lot of my investors, what have they told me is they say, we like investing with you because we see you on social media. You're always going to the properties and you're always out there talking to the property managers, surprising them. You're always at the property visiting. You're hands-on, Nizan. You're a hands-on investor. And that's why we like what you're doing, right? So show them that you remember the expert, right? The go-to person. So when you're on the phone with them, it's okay to build that relationship and blah, blah, blah. And yes, let's talk for 5 minutes. Matthew, where are you from?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
Austin. Oh, you get your weird on in Austin. That's great. Hey, Austin, that's great. It's funny. I was at a conference once years and years ago when my youngest daughter, I think she was like 3 or 4 years old. I used to travel to these events with my wife and kids so I could at least see them during the event. And it's funny. One day my daughter fell in the river in Austin. It was hilarious. Find something that you can connect on, that you can hook on, that you can, whatever it is. If I was never in Austin, I go, oh, that's great. And you said you're in multifamily. What other areas, what other markets have you bought properties in?
Yeah, I'm following you. Yeah.
What other markets?
All Austin and San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio. Dude, I love the Riverwalk in San Antonio. That is such a cool place. And I used to own a property in San Antonio. It was a 64-unit property. It was called Swang Oaks Apartments. I bought that for about $5 million with my Latin investors and whatnot. And then we sold it. We did a 1031. We bought a $9 million in Wichita. I love San Antonio. You see how I just built that connection?
Yeah, I follow you.
Right?
Yep.
Now we can go into, Matthew, listen, I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you're busy and whatnot, but my goal is to go out there and now acquire or raise $20, $30 million for these types of projects and with the team that I have. And I'd love to hear your criteria and how you function and how you work with that. Boom. Again, what do we show? You're sharp. You're a sharp guy. Boom. You're enthusiastic and you're the expert.
Love it. I appreciate it. It's helpful.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, and I'll add to the answer as well. Nizan did a great job with coming from the relationship building approach. I'll come from a more tactical approach, just so that way you can have both sides of that. But you have 3 types of fund managers. You have brand new, never raised money before. They have no clue how much money they can raise. You have the mid guys, and then you have the guys that can raise easily $1 million plus per deal, right? And so I know you have a community that you run similar to what I have here, Matthew. And so in that community, if there's a lot of new guys, you teach them how to become fund managers by partnering up with each other. So that way, even if they can only raise 100,000, look, just get your feet wet, just dip your toes in the water, right? Even if you can only raise 500, even if you can only raise 100,000, that's okay. I'm gonna put you up with 4 other people, so there'll be 5 of you. So together, you guys can bring 500,000 in, which is a good enough amount that would help cover for legal costs and things like that to make it worth it for all of you. Okay, so that's the brand new guys. The guys that can raise between whatever 500 to $1 million, those guys are usually a lot easier to recruit because they're not as picky in who they'll raise for. That relationship get built a lot faster. And yeah, so those are the ones that can help you more with like immediate needs. And then you have the bigger guys. Those guys takes a longer relationship building time to get them to say, yes, all right, Matthew, I'll come and raise for you. Okay. So those are three guys, three levels. One of the things that you'll face against are the bigger operators, right? The Rice 48 of the world, the Lone Star of the world, the Aspen Funds of the world, where they have a much more track record. And the way that I see that can help you stand out from those guys, because those guys, they don't pay their fund managers very well. Anywhere from 10 to 15% profit margin, meaning that for every dollar that a fund manager raise, they'll make 10 to 15 cents in mostly in equity, very little bit in cash, if any, if you're raising for the big boys. So if I was in your position and I'm looking to attract these mid-tier, these bigger tier fund managers, I would look for ways to get them. If I can get them at least 20% profit margin, they can double what they would make raising for the bigger operators. I can win them over from that perspective as well, right? So it's, hey, look, we understand when you're raising, you have your fund costs, you have your staff costs. I'll give you X in marketing fee, plus you still have the fund economics, the better fund economics. So when you calculate everything together, you can easily make at least 20%, something to that effect. That would help you stand out. But I know that's a
Yeah, I'll have more questions on it later. I don't want to take the floor, but that's very helpful from both of you guys. I'm an action taker, so I will take that advice and it will be fruitful. And I appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Awesome, man.
Sounds good. All right, Matthew. All right, Bob, go ahead, unmute.
Yeah, listen, I really appreciate your discussion. A lot of room for thought. One of my biggest problems, and I was hoping you might illuminate a little more on for me, is trying to get the clarity portion as to what you're doing. There's so many moving parts to this. I've been working on acquisitions. I've been trying to learn the underwriting to a degree. And at the same time, I have a little small team that we're trying to put this thing together. And one of the guys says he's going to handle the fundraising, but I don't totally see it. So how did you get clarity as to where your best route was? You talked about these different programs that you looked at.
That's a great question. So the clarity came, it was pretty easy for me. When I looked at that spreadsheet and I said, oh my God, what is that? I knew that wasn't for me. Right. Yeah. It's knowing yourself, right? It's knowing yourself, knowing what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And then forget about your weaknesses and focus on your strengths. Okay. If you're a people person and you like going out, learn how to be a master networker. Learn how to go out and build relationships with people. So books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, great book to read, right? That's a great book. Using the mind theater on creating the verbiage that you're going to use and practicing. It's a skill set. It's not a talent, it's a skill, and we can all learn it. So sit down with yourself. Perfect. This is the best way to do it. Take a coin. Take a coin. Heads, underwriting. Tails, capital raising. All right. Flip it. See where it lands. You will know within a second what you are. Because let's say, like for me, if I were to do that and it would land on the underwriting side, I'd be like, oh, shoot. Not an underwriter. The universe just decided for me or put it in front of me and saying, Nizan, you're not an underwriter because of that. And you can do that with everything and anything. Okay. Investor relations or asset management. Flip a coin, see what it lands. And the way you feel about that result will let you know if this is the journey that I want to go on. And sometimes it's as simple as that.
That's good.
Now there's the mystical way of doing it, right? Where is it? Oh, it's not on my desk. Shoot, I wanted to bring it, but I have a bunch of crystals and things over here. Where is it?
You trying to do the pendulum?
The pendulum, yes. I have a little crystal You can write on a piece of paper on one side, underwriting on the other side, capital raise, and see where that pendulum swings. This is business, but let's make it fun and let's make it something that we're building, because you're going to do this for a long time, right? I don't see myself ever retiring, because what am I going to retire from? From what? From Zoom calls? All right. I did a Zoom call last week from the beach. I literally took my laptop, my beach chair, boom, put my earplugs in. I was Zooming on the beach. People looking at me, they're like, what is this guy doing? Yeah, I'm having a business meeting on the beach. Have fun with it. But in any business, to really become successful, now listen to the words, because words have meaning and they have power. We become successful. We have to become something that we are not. Something that who we are got us to where we are today. To get more, we have to become more. To get higher results, we have to become a higher vibration. Right? So sit with yourself, contemplate, ask the universe, call it God, whatever you want. And I do this even today when I go walk a property. It doesn't matter if it's single family, multifamily, whatever type of property. When I get onto the site, I walk with my hands open like this and I go, okay, talk to me. People look at me like I'm crazy. Probably am. But they look at me like, what is this guy doing? I go, I'm listening. I'm feeling the property. It's going to talk to me. And it does. And it talks to me. And it gives me a feeling. It gives me a notion. It gives me a word. It gives me a vibe, something. Sit with yourself. Put the words out: underwriter, capital raiser, asset manager, investor relations, broker relations, and ask, what is it that I want to do with my life? What is it that, not my life, but what is it that I want to do with my career, with this path? And let it go. And then the answer will come to you. Now, if you're looking for a more of a quicker way, do the coin flip, do the coin toss. You'll be amazed that you're like, oh yeah, I didn't like that answer. I hope that helped you. I hope I answered your question.
It's really good. You went into the whole, what's intuition and and energy and all of that. That's a lot of people don't get what you're saying, but because I know for a long time, like I didn't know how to really be in my body and read my body. That's a lot of us are too analytical, so we're blocked by that. But
That's right.
that's a really good tip. All right, Vanessa, go ahead. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm gonna make it super quick. Thank you so much for today, for putting this on, Mr. Mai, and for all of the wealth of knowledge you shared. I really admire your journey and everything you shared today, so thank you so much. I also really wanted to say thank you for the books that you have recommended, and my question goes geared towards that. If you had to recommend, maybe rather than just one book, maybe a writer or an author that you really like, in one or all three categories, like I think maybe life or success in general, and then business. If you wanna say capital raising, for instance, that could be pretty good. In mindset, in those three categories, I would love to hear if you have a favorite author.
Mindset. I'll go back to him. He's a guy. He has a video series on Gaia. Oh, and he does weekend retreats as well. I see his face, but he's a little bald guy with some hair. He's a doctor. His name will come to me. There's a great book. I'm not big into authors. I'm big into titles of books. John Maxwell, for example, great author. Definitely read his books. Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. These are all the big guys. Dale Carnegie. This guy, Oren Klaff. Definitely read it, right? Flip the script. Talks about how to really communicate correctly. Joe Dispenza, mindset, getting everything, energy and all that stuff together. Let's see. So we said mindset, capital raising. It would be about Dale Carnegie, Learn How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's an incredible book, because what is capital raising? Capital raising is being, exactly. It's relationships. How do I build relationships? How do we go out there and build relationships? What are these other books? I wish I had my. So Win Friends and Influence People. John Maxwell is a great author. Agmandino, the Salesman in Babylon. What is that? The Best Salesman in Babylon, something of that nature. Great book. I have a huge library of books that I go through. Psychocybernetics, excellent book. Who else? Let me see. I'm going to pull up my Audible list here because I like to listen. I like to listen to.
Earlier you meant to say The Richest Man in Babylon.
There you go. The Richest Man in Babylon. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Relentless by Tim Grover. Okay, great book. Let's see. Now, this book, the title sounds strange, but it's not a religious book, but it goes into the Bible. Business Secrets from the Bible by Daniel Lapin, excuse me. He talks about how in the Bible, it gives us all of these business concepts, and it's there. So and just a quick example, why does God tell us that we don't find bread? The Bible is always talking about bread. Jesus broke bread. Bread came from the heavens when the Jews were leaving Egypt and all. Why bread? Because bread, you need ingredients. You need to take the single ingredients, and when you put them together, it makes bread, and bread is sustenance, and food is togetherness, is life. So in business, you can't do it by yourself. You got to go out there and build teams and build relationships with people. So different concepts of things like that. So it's a great book on business. The New Psychocybernetics. Let's see. What else is there? I'm looking through here. Let's see. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Excellent book. The Silva, S-I-L-V-A, the Silva Mind Control Method. Okay. Yep. And then there's a great book by Stephen A. Schwarzman. He was the guy that heads up Blackstone. It's called What It Takes. Okay. And then there's a great book by a guy called Richard Bandler, and it's called Get the Life You Want. Okay. And then Clockwork. I don't know if you've ever heard of Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. So he's got a book called Clockwork, and then he's got another book called Profit First. Let's see what else. Limitless, great book by Jim Quick, Kwik. And then Wallace D. Wattles' trilogy. His trilogy it talks about, hold on, it's starting for me now. Yeah, the trilogy. And it has 3 different books in it. And it talks about the mind and all of that good stuff. So those are just some of the books that I highly recommend reading. There's another book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. Excellent. Excellent. Then who's that great marketing guy that everybody talks about? Russell Brunson bought his company. You're muted. So what did you say?
No, I might be
Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy. See, this old brain. I gotta. Yes, Dan Kennedy. Thank you. Think and Grow Rich is always a great one. Think and Grow Rich is a fantastic book. Highly recommend it. I gave that to my daughters when they were young to read. Absolutely. Absolutely great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything, for all of the list of books. I'm going to be reading 24/7 now.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That is a lot of books. Awesome. Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our interview portion here so we can put you guys into your breakout session. Nizan, thank you so much for being on our show today. Really appreciate you. You brought a wealth amount of knowledge and wisdom. Yeah, it's very clear how you got your secret to your success, right? It's the books that you read, it's the things that you implement to stand out, to be different. And networking, relationship building is definitely like very high up there in your zone of genius, no doubt. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you, Tim. It's been an honor, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, let's take a group picture with Nizan real quick before we put you guys into your breakout session. Okay, let me. All right. You guys turn on your cameras. We're going to do a group picture real quick. Quick announcements while you're turning on your camera. Our event coming up on October 2nd to 4th, our Capital Summit. We're going to talk a lot about capital raising. We're going to talk about AI strategies to make your capital raising easier. And we'll put the link in the chat there for you. We have a 40% off early bird special right now. Plus, it's a BOGO, buy one, get one free. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing events. So this is now our our fourth, I believe. Yeah, our fourth capital raising summit that we've done. Plus, we've done a couple fun summits as well. And yeah, our audience are, a lot of the folks on here very experienced. If you're looking for fund managers, if you're looking for other capital raisers to come on, whether it's a co-GP or fund of funds into your deal, like that's the place to go. All right, everyone, you guys ready for our pictures? Yes. You know the drill. We flex on the show. All right, you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah.